Memorial High School community will honor a student today after he was stabbed to death at a track meet. Yesterday morning, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kukendall Stadium. Frisco police say around 10 a.m., 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight. It's unclear how Anthony got the knife into the meat or exactly what led up to the fight. Anthony now facing first-degree murder charges. Victim's father took the time to share his thoughts in the middle of all his grief.
He's touched a lot of people's lives. He was a great individual, a leader, an athlete, very smart, 4.0. I couldn't ask for a better son. Two of them. I couldn't ask. They were my whole life.
Metcalf was a linebacker for Frisco Memorial High School varsity football team, voted MVP this season. He was also part of the National Honor Society. The school will have counselors on hand for students and staff if they need to talk to someone.
President Trump says his sweeping tariffs package will generate money for the nation's economy and boost U.S. manufacturing. On Wednesday, the president imposed tariffs on more than 180 countries and territories which import goods into the United States. Most will have to pay a 10% baseline tax on U.S. imports. The administration hopes it will encourage Americans to buy American-made, tariff-free equivalents. But he imposed higher rates for dozens of nations that run trade surpluses with America, such as 34% for China and 20% on the European Union. Some economists say if the costs get passed down to the consumer, the tariffs are in essence a tax on Americans. Since this tariff war began, some trade partners like China, Mexico, and Canada have implemented retaliatory tariffs. It's unclear just how many others would follow suit.
Right before the president's announcement, U.S. stock markets closed. They were all higher, up less than 1%. Today likely to be a bad day on Wall Street, though. That's what's expected. Stock futures pointing to a sharply lower opening. Investors worried about the tariffs and that might spike inflation, hurt the U.S. economy. Dow, NASDAQ, S&P 500 all expected to open down about 3-4% or more this morning. Trading begins at 8:30 our time.
It's 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Severe weather is slamming parts of the South and Midwest. We'll get a closer look at some of the damage just ahead.
Okay, taking a look at the radar. Yeah, we are watching some active weather. Look out to the left there on the screen. Moving on in. Evan's busy tracking it all. We'll check in with him shortly.
Wet roads are likely to impact your morning commute. Chip's got a look at some of the areas to avoid after the break.
had one round of showers go through, and we still have some showers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We'll look at them in a second. You can see them stretching right now through Dallas-Fort Worth and up to the north. There's really nothing going on with them outside of maybe a pea-sized hailstone, so certainly not concerns. But these are our two big concerns out to the west of Fort Worth. I'm going to look at them in a second. I just want to get you ready for your drive out the doors. You head outside, get the kids ready. We do have some scattered showers. It's enough, as Peyton was saying, to wet the roads, but we are looking at showers in Fort Worth and a few little showers in Dallas and up towards Carrollton, Plano, and Grapevine. Again, spotty showers out ahead of some of the main storms. I took the lightning off because, I mean, if I put the lightning on, you will realize very quickly that there's a ton of lightning with this, but we can see the structure of this a lot better without the lightning. This is a supercell. This is what we call an elevated supercell. And you hear supercell, and everybody in Texas thinks, uh-oh, tornadoes. But not only, in this case, tornadoes would form when you have all the very warm, humid air. This is in the cooler air. It's in the 50s up here. So this is more stable right at the ground level, so we don't worry about tornadoes. But this is rotating. You can definitely see the rotation headed towards Strom, and that will likely produce some gusty winds, maybe 50, 55-mile-per-hour winds. And north of that, where you see this big old blob up here on the north side, that's where all the air is rising, and you're going to have some hailstones out of that. Easily quarter size, potentially golf ball. Weather Service has warned up to egg size, which is 2 inches. Where is this going? This is moving in this direction towards Mineral Wells. So you folks over in Palo Pinto County, especially as you go out towards Possum Kingdom Lake, Mineral Wells, got to worry about hailstones with that. This cell has hail as well, lifting north towards Jacksboro. So a couple of warnings, and there's strictly going to be hail warnings this morning, the way things look. If this keeps going, it would move just north of 180 into northern Parker County. We'd have to watch Parker County, Wise County, and areas just north and west of Fort Worth within the hour. That's what we're going to watch. At this point, all we're seeing is showers, but I want you to look at the temperatures. Only 60 in Fort Worth, 50s in Bridgeport, mid-70s Corsicana. Where is our front? Because it's important. That front is right here. All the showers and storms are north of that, which is why we consider it elevated. You're not going to get tornadoes in the cool sector. You'd have to get it on this side of the boundary, and we don't see much going on today. Now, maybe tomorrow. At this point, dew points are 70 degrees on the warm side, much cooler, and we're going to be cool today. We're only going to be about 60 or in the mid-60s all day in the Metroplex. Notice Tyler at 72. So, again, the front bisects the state. Strong disturbance crossing this morning. Once this gets out of here, we'll be quiet the rest of the day. And then we watch the storm, that parent storm, which continues to spin and spin out spokes of energy like a wheel just spinning around. One this morning, another one tomorrow. The big one will be Friday night and Saturday morning. There are really no changes to this forecast. Heaviest rain is going to be from the Metroplex up to the north and east, couple 4-6 inches of rain. And after this morning, Friday, more showers and thunderstorms, especially east in the afternoon, where, yes, there could be a tornado risk from maybe Paris down to Tyler and Palestine, our far eastern counties. Other than that, it's probably a hail threat. And then the flood risk is Friday night into Saturday morning, early Saturday, maybe gone by early in the morning, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And most of Saturday may end up being fairly quiet until a few showers in the afternoon. And then once we dry out Sunday, we're done. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. This is at 7:30 in the morning. Again, computer models, sometimes they do okay. They're just indications. They are taking that supercell complex that's over out to the west of us and putting it over the Metroplex 7:30 in the morning. That means the hail potential would be there. By 9 o'clock, by the end of rush hour, things begin to weaken. And after 9 o'clock, everything should be pretty quiet towards noon. I can't rule out a shower, but the afternoon looks pretty quiet. Notice the 80s southeast to the 60s elsewhere. So that's going to help brew more storms overnight. There would be a hail risk with some of them overnight, not as widespread as what we're seeing this morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, those storms east out by Paris, Tyler, Palestine would have a tornado threat with them. And then the main system just kind of runs over us as we get into Friday night into early Saturday Saturday morning. Once we get past Saturday morning, the bulk of the rain will be gone. 7-day forecast, 65 today, morning storms. Otherwise, a lot of clouds, just 20% afternoon showers. If you're going out to the Stars game this evening, it's on more 27 if you want to watch it. No problems. Tomorrow, on and off showers and storms. Risk for some hail. Flood threat is in there Friday night into Saturday morning. That's the big one, 100%. And then once we get past Saturday morning, it is brisk, it is chilly all weekend, 59, 60 degrees. We'll dry it out Sunday, and the rest of the forecast looks marvelous next week.
All right, nothing marvelous about the drive in the following locations. First, northbound traffic on I-35E. I'm going to bring up a TxDOT shot in the Zhang curve to start. At least I hope this will start to work, and it's not going. There it goes, finally. And you can see that the traffic flow through this area is down to about 5 or 6 miles an hour in the main lanes. Again, this all stems from a crash happened over an hour ago involving a flip box truck. Heavy-duty wreckers starting to set up cables, but haven't started the process of uprighting it. When they do, they are going to block off all the main lanes. So again, you want to avoid that area if you possibly can. 183 still have remnants of a wreck on the lighter side of traffic westbound past Loop 12 in the 2 left lanes. And up in Denton County, let's go there next. A crash just happened northbound I-35E as one moves up past the State School Mayhill Road interchange. Oh, that's the Carl Road wreck. Let me see if I can get that other incident to come up for you. This crash that's on northbound I-35E involves a couple of vehicles, and the left lane is currently blocked off where the incident has occurred. The emergency crews obviously have not made it to the scene yet, but are heading this way. And as I continue to look at this, of the 2 vehicles involved, the vehicle that was in front of the pickup truck has already driven off. So I'm just going to assume that this other vehicle is not drivable after rear-ending that other vehicle. For drivers moving on I-35W from Denton County down towards Tarrant County, that's been okay so far this morning. Again, more showers are moving into the area. Be careful if you have to get out and about.
Welcome back. It is 6:20.
At least one person is dead and multiple people are hurt after severe storms tore through parts of the South and even the Midwest.
Yeah, National Weather Service receiving more than 20 reports of tornadoes. Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky. Look at that one right there. Storms really kicked up yesterday afternoon. They continued overnight. In Missouri, several structures damaged. We know there are cars flipped, there are power poles snapped. Missouri State Highway Patrol reporting 1 death so far.
Video shows a destructive tornado that traveled through Lake City in northeastern Arkansas. Emergency management officials say the storms caused damage in 22 counties. One woman says she took her family to a shelter, fearing the storms would get bad. She returned to find her home destroyed.
I mean, I'm really devastated that we don't have anything left. I mean, we're picking up what pieces are left, and that's not a whole lot.
Well, the threat isn't over. Forecasters say that area could receive up to 15 inches of rain over the next 7 days. All right, here is another look at the radar. Storms that could have some hail are moving across our area this morning. Evan's going to have an update when we come back.
If you're getting ready to go out to work and school this morning, well, this is the school cast. So let's say school, there will be showers and thunderstorms that are rolling through. Right now we have rain in the Metroplex, but a big complex of storms still west of Mineral Wells. So that's going to be in here after 7, certainly more towards 7:30, 8 o'clock at this point. 60s this morning, and we stay in the 60s all day. Even though the rain ends for the most part, it's going to stay cool all day. I want to point this out. We'll get into detail at the bottom of the hour. We do have the showers that are going on across the Metroplex. This is the complex we're keeping a very close eye on. This has already produced egg-sized and a little bit larger hail, so it's been out there to the west of us, and it is running along and north of I-20, which will put it towards Mineral Wells pretty shortly, within the next 15, 20 minutes, and maybe into Parker, northern Parker County, and southern Wise County. So we'll have to keep an eye on that very closely. Let's go over to Chip. What are you watching?
Just picking up where I left off in the last report, because we now officially have emergency vehicles at that recent wreck in Denton County, northbound on I-35E, heading up from Corinth, past the State School Mayhill Road interchange. 2 left lanes now officially blocked in that location while the crews here on scene assess this situation. Traffic flow is obviously slowing down as one moves up from the Postoak interchange. On 183, more lanes are now open westbound, and it does appear that this crash is going to be clearing out here soon. The only thing I see is the police vehicle. In fact, just looking to make sure there isn't any debris in the roadway that could spawn any additional crashes. And a reminder, northbound I-35E at I-30, that's the worst spot. Crash involving this flip box truck, and the heavy-duty wreckers still trying to figure out the best way to upright all of the wreckage.
And it goes into Davis. And it's Anthony Davis driving.
Nice. Anthony Davis showed Mavericks fan he's here to win. Last night he scored 34 points, including the game winner in the 120-118 home victory over Atlanta. The Hawks' Trae Young missed a game-winning shot at the buzzer. Dallas now is 9th in the West. Right now, that's good enough for the play-in tournament. The Mavs head to Los Angeles to play the Clippers tomorrow night. All right, 6:26, straight ahead and good day. Waking up to a lot of wet weather. Here is another look at the radar. We are live with what drivers can expect to see in our next half hour.
6:30 a.m. You're watching Good Day, live and local on Fox 4.
All right, welcome back on this Thursday morning. A lot of storm chasers out there in the storms that we're seeing now. Michael Beard is one of them, and we wanted to take some video you see right there. Yeah, rain is just pouring down. I'm not sure exactly where he
is my mic up? Yeah, my mic's
where
up.
he was when he shot
Michael
the video.
Beard, I'll take it, Brandon. Michael Beard's over in Jacksboro right now, and there is a cell coming right through Jacksboro with increasing hail. He's under a severe thunderstorm warning, you folks over in Jack County, and hail could get up to quarters. I mean, it's getting bigger. I'm looking at it bouncing right there. It's definitely getting bigger, and hailstones could be up to quarter size, headed towards the city of Jacksboro even as we speak. So thank you to Michael, and go put your truck somewhere safe, please. Let us take a look at what's going on forewarned Doppler radar, because we got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings now here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's raining. We've got rain and some storms. I'll show you the storms out to the west. We still have a really rough one that's in Palo Pinto County now. But the rain that's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that is making the roads wet, it's just plain old rain, maybe a little heavier rain up by Carrollton and Addison, moving into Plano up the tollway towards Frisco, and a little bit by Dallas. But then again, all of these are small, little, tiny showers moving north, and you're like, well, what's the big deal? And then this is the big deal. I'll show you where Michael was. Michael was sitting in Jacksboro. Let me take the lightning off so we can see the core on this. And you can see the core of this right over the city of Jacksboro. That core likely does have hailstones, maybe nickel, and probably at least quarters. This isn't the monster hail, but this one right here is a supercell that is moving. It's just north of Strawn right now. And I'm going to stop this and we'll track it in a second. But you can see the little hook, and everybody in Texas says, oh, a hook must be a tornado. No, in this case, this is all elevated well above the surface. This is not a tornado threat, but what this is a storm producing very large hail. We've had reports of 2-inch hail. It's moving at about 35 miles per hour. To put it in Mineral Wells just before 7 o'clock this morning, probably in the 650 range, and eventually it will get towards Weatherford. So it's tracking more into Parker County and southern parts of, it looks like it's going to be Wise County. So you folks, Paradise over in Rome, Newark, will have to watch this one very closely. Back to what we're talking about this morning. By 9 o'clock this morning, all these showers and storms are going to be moving through by 9 o'clock this morning. They'll begin to diminish after that. They'll be in the Metroplex certainly by 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the afternoon looks relatively quiet. Just 20% showers, mainly for eastern counties. So we've got the storms this morning that are going to be around through about 8 or 9 o'clock, diminishing coverage past 9 o'clock. Everything should calm down. We're only about 60 degrees today. It is a much cooler forecast today than it was the last couple of days. And one more look at the radar to look at this cluster of storms out by Jacksboro, Mineral Wells. You can see the direction that it's eventually trending. So it's running north of I-20. So this is going to get into our northern counties, Parker County, Wise County, and especially Denton County as we go through the morning. And there will be a risk for some large hail. At least quarters, golf balls, and a couple of spots could have egg-sized hail. Back to you.
Wow, egg-sized hail. That's all right. That's serious. Yeah, that video that you just saw that was from Jacksboro, which is in Jack County. That's northwest of us. Just to the north, or on the north side of the Metroplex, up in Collin County, the rain is picking up too.
Definitely. Fox 4's Dan Godwin on the roads in McKinney with a look. Dan?
Well, good morning, Lauren. We are heading west on 380, a little bit west of McKinney right now. We are heading towards Denton, and the volume of rain has really been picking up. We were experiencing heavy rain for about 20 minutes. It may have let up a little bit just in the last few minutes, but certainly the potential is there for plenty more. We're also getting an update from DFW Airport that is weather related. The airport saying that it currently leads the nation in the number of flight cancellations, and that announcement, those cancellations, no doubt, of course, weather related. This is yet another day when it would be a very good idea to have the WAP easily accessible. You can download it for free by scanning the QR code on your screen. It's also available for Android and iPhone by going to the App Store and searching Fox 4 WAP. Certainly a lot of helpful information today, certainly to be gained from the WAP. All right, let's find out a little bit more about how traffic is looking around the Metroplex as we get more and more as the rain starts to pick up. Chip?
Yes, and right. We've got concerns, obviously, and will until all of this passes through, and we're still talking about another hour and a half or so for all of this to continue to develop and push through the area. So Dan has Collin County covered. No incidents in that area right now. We're actually only keeping tabs on two issues. They happen to be about 28 to 30 miles apart, both on northbound I-35E. So the worst spot right now in downtown Dallas, northbound I-35E approaching I-30. The speeds are down under 5 miles an hour in the Zang curve, and there's the reason why. You have the rig hauling the box trailer, and at this point it appears that the heavy-duty wreckers are separating the rig from the trailer, so they're going to upright everything in 2 phases. When they start that process, they'll shut down the highway. So please, again, take note. This is going to be a nightmare of a drive for the majority of the morning through that area. The other spot is northbound I-35E, a less severe crash. In fact, it just looks like we need a wrecker for the pickup truck that remains from an initial crash involving 2 vehicles just north of the State School Mayhill Road interchange. For safety's sake, though, because the roadways are so wet, 2 left lanes are blocked off, and that is causing a backup through Corinth toward the Swisher Road interchange. As far as the drive is concerned, moving on I-35W past the east-west split and continuing down past the Texas Motor Speedway into Fort Worth, you can see all of the highways are trouble-free right now. A little bit to the west of there, I-30 in the construction zone eastbound, approaching the west loop, starting to bog down, coming over from Parker County, but nothing that would be awful right now. Just, again, damp roadways, and we don't have any issues currently on the Parker County highways. Brandon, Lauren?
Ooh, okay, busy morning.
That is a lot. All right, 6:36 coming up on Good Day. The Dallas Stars are trying to keep a winning streak going as the Nashville Predators come to town. We'll have a preview of tonight's action when we come back.
Goes back.
Welcome back. The Stars are playoff bound. They remain in second place. That's 4 points behind Winnipeg in both the Central Division and Western Conference.
Looking good. Dallas takes a 6-game win streak into tonight's home game against Nashville. Every aspect of the Stars game really just seems to be perfect. Offense is clicking. Defense limiting the opponent's chances. Both goalies, Jake Ottinger and Casey D. Smith, are stopping nearly every shot. It's tonight, big game against the Nashville Predators on KDFI More 27. Our coverage starts at 6:30. We'll be watching. It is 6:40.
Yeah, we are also watching the storms this morning. And there is a risk of hail. Evan is going to have the latest when we come back.
Continue with the severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock this morning. Pretty much covers most of North Texas, although Southern County is less of a concern. DFW area north, I'm going to point out a little rain in the Metroplex, rain and a couple of rumbles and maybe some pea-sized hail. But this is the big deal out to the west of us. If you are traveling anywhere west of Fort Worth, you got to stay on guard. Here's Fort Worth right here when I say west, because this is a supercell. There's rotation with it, but this is all elevated. So we don't worry about tornadoes and something like this because it's high above the ground. We worry about hailstones. We've had lots of reports of hail out of this. This particular cell, since it's a little weaker, is starting to track more north. It's going through Mineral Wells. It'll go north of Weatherford. So if you live up into northern Parker and Wise counties, you have to be on guard for these. I'll show you in a second. Let me step out of the way, take some of the lightning off, because the lightning can really just kind of clutter up the screen at times. What we're seeing on this especially the cell that's over Jacksboro. We'll stop the radar. That cell, we have a storm tracker there, Michael Beard. It's already produced half-dollar size hail, which is about 1.25 inches, and it's almost into the ping-pong ball size range. It is on the north side of Jacksboro right now. That would be lifting north into northern Jack County. The other cell that we're keeping a close eye on is this one, although it's come down in intensity as it approaches Mineral Wells. You can see it right here. The worst part of the storm, at least at this point, the worst part of the storm that's out there is likely going to track just through the city of Mineral Wells. Within the next 30 minutes or so, you're looking at this going towards Poolville, maybe by 7 o'clock over Mineral Wells, producing some hail up to nickel size. And then the other showers that are in the Metroplex, you can see rain, and there's probably some pockets of moderate rain between Irving and Farmers Branch, up towards Carrollton, maybe over by Coppell and Plano, all lifting north into Collin County. So Collin County is wet. The roads are going to be wet. Just leave yourself a little extra time. The interesting thing is all the hail is falling where the temperatures are in the 50s this morning. And usually you think about severe weather being hot, humid, or warm and humid. That air is here. It's sitting there in the 70s, but that air is being lifted up on top of the cooler air, and that's why you're getting all the storms on the cool side of the front and not on the warm side, which is good because this would be a tornado risk on the warm side. Instead, we're just dealing with these showers and storms with hail. Not that hail is anybody's friend. So we still see these continuing through 8 or 9 o'clock this morning, but gradually just working out of the area late this morning towards noon, and then the afternoon looks reasonably quiet. I'd say cloudy to mostly cloudy, but we're going to stay cool. Temperatures are only going to be in the 60s. Showers and storms this morning with the hail risk, and then they weaken and begin to exit later this morning, quiet this afternoon, and the next batch will come in tonight. The main risk we've seen already out west towards Eastland. We've seen storms with even bigger than egg size. An egg is 2 inches. We've seen 2¼ inch hail out of some of these. This is not a tornado situation, though, at least for today. We may see a couple tomorrow for eastern counties. The one thing today, though, that's important as you get ready to go out the door, we push temperatures down. Yesterday, we thought we'd be in the 70s today. Mid 60s today. That's it. Kind of where you are is where you're going to stay. It'll be close to 75, 80 in our southeastern areas and only in the 50s northwest. Big temperature contrast, but you want to be on the cool side of the front. The cool side is a little more stable. Yes, you get some hailstorms, but you lose the risk for some nasty wind-producing storms and tornadoes. There's very humid Gulf air out there, but we're all getting this action on the colder side. Later today, it may shift over to Arkansas on the warmer side. That's where the storm risk is highest. And while we continue in the slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center, things with hail will quiet down this morning. We could see another risk late tonight into tomorrow morning. And the parent storm isn't going anywhere. It's still out there today and tomorrow. Lifting moisture on top of the front. The heaviest rain comes in Friday night into Saturday morning. 100% coverage. But as this storm system finally starts moving, we'll dry it out Saturday afternoon. We'll stay rather chilly, and then we'll keep it cold through the rest of the weekend. So the rain between now and about Saturday morning could still total 2 to 6 inches across the area. So late tonight, there's another storm risk with some hailstones. Not as bad as what it is this morning, though. Friday, 70% showers and storms. Especially eastern areas could have a severe risk. Who's east? Paris, Tyler, Palestine. You would have that tornado threat tomorrow because you'll be on the warm side of the storm. Saturday morning, early in the day, especially a couple hours after sunrise, there is a 100% chance for rain and storms. That's a flood threat. And then Saturday night, a few showers. Then we're done. Finally, we can be done. And my producers won't hate me for going 5 minutes. They'll probably be thankful next week. 65 degrees today, morning storms, otherwise cloudy skies this afternoon. Pretty quiet. So if you're going out to the Stars game, or you can watch it on More 27, it'll be fine tonight. Friday, showers and storms again. There is that active weather risk, the flood threat, especially overnight Friday into early Saturday morning. Then the showers move out. It's just windy and chilly. And Sunday, mostly cloudy. We'll break it up in the afternoon at 59, finally starting to warm up next week, and it looks very pretty Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Thanks, Evan. Over on the west side of our viewing area, you kind of saw on the radar, and we'll get to the bigger cell in just a second, where you have, again, heavier showers forming. But right now, to head through Parker County, everything is still quiet. But then from Mineral Wells further west, it's rough. Here's a quick look at I-30 around the West Loop. Roadways are still relatively dry, just slightly damp from some of the showers that have gone through that area. No extra stalls to make it any worse in that location. Up in Wise County, as I mentioned, we've been seeing the shots from Michael Beard. He's moving now in this area, and it just gives you a good feel for what it's like on the roadways there. You can see some ponding on the roadways here and there, and it's a very heavy rain that he's driving through currently. And the good news is, in Wise County, I haven't seen any big incidents pop up. Here's some good news on northbound I-35E in Denton County, moving up towards and past the State School Mayhill Road interchange. Wreckers now loading up the vehicle that's been blocking up the left side of the highway. Good chance that by the top of the hour we will see all lanes open back up, but it is obviously slow as one approaches that location coming up from Corinth. And then on northbound I-35E, the Big E at I-30, literally where we have a rig hauling a trailer that flipped. And the cleanup of this situation is going to be a long, slow process. They've successfully separated the rig from the trailer, going to upright both of them separately, and then hopefully get it all cleared out. Some of the wild cards with this situation is simply due to the fact that don't know how bad a hazardous material spill there might be or anything like that. And obviously we will have some closures temporarily when they start to actually upright that vehicle. So what's it like a little bit to the east of there, using northbound I-45 to head up from I-20? All things considered, not terrible. Good Day's back after this.
Welcome back. So today, Dallas City Council is going to meet the 4 finalists for the city's next fire chief.
32 people from around the nation applied for that position. The selected final 4 include the current interim Dallas Fire Chief, Justin Ball, Fort Worth Fire Department's Executive Assistant Chief, Raymond Hill, Samuel Pena, a former fire chief from Houston, and the out-of-state candidate, Todd Alt, the Assistant Chief for Tampa Fire Rescue in Florida. Stay with us. Good Day. We'll be right back.
Tell you the dog's probably not liking a lot of the thunder this morning. We haven't had a ton of thunder, at least in the Metroplex. All the big storms are off to the west, but by 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're going to be getting more into the Dallas and Fort Worth area. So we're putting red there for Chewy. Chewy's hanging on for dear life to the couch, the little golden doodle or the medium-sized golden doodle. But we are going to see things improve this afternoon. Certainly after 12 o'clock, I don't really see much rain in the forecast at all. Should dry out, a little damp on the grass, but it'll be better later. And thank you to Dan for sending it in to us. But I will tell you right now, I just want to put this up. There is severe hail out to the west of us, moving more towards Decatur. It's in Jacksboro. We'll keep an eye on it right now, Chip.
Okay, good. Right now in Fort Worth, actually transition from Hurst to Fort Worth, we have a new crash. Here's a quick look at it. Southbound on the East Loop as one moves down past Trinity Boulevard. The good news is wreckers are already on the scene of this incident. Yes, it is slow coming down from 183 as a result. For folks in the area of I-35E approaching I-30, again, Nightmare City because of the crash involving an overturned vehicle. Good news up in Denton, northbound on I-35E. As hoped, the crash at the State School Mayhill Road interchange is cleared. Traffic flow is starting to move a touch better in that spot. Celebrity birthday time. We're talking about Mr. Las Vegas first, I believe.
We are the Mr. Las Vegas. Wayne Newton celebrating a birthday today. And he's up there.
I'm going to say like...
I'm going to say 80.
I was going even older than that. I'm going 88.
I'll do 85.
83 years old this morning. We then move on to comedian, actor Eddie Murphy.
Can you do his laugh? Yeah, that's better. You're better than me.
That's the best I can do. It's not very good.
58?
I'm going to say 62.
I was going to do 62. I'll do 60.
64. All right.
We were close. Actor Adam Scott from Severance and Parks and Recreation. Oh, yeah, I recognize him. Okay. 40?
38.
43. Wow.
One of my guesses is just always a question.
52? We were really off on that. We are having a tough week, guys.
We have had a tough week.
Ooh.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you. If you're blowing out candles, you're watching Good Day.
Fox 4, the only local news at 7 a.m. This is Good Day.
We have some storms, and they have some hail in parts of the area this morning. Evan's got the latest on what we can expect.
One teenager dead, another charged with murder after a stabbing at a track meet in Frisco. The latest coming out.
Also, there is strong reaction after President Donald Trump enacted new tariffs on dozens of countries. Good morning. It's Thursday, April 3rd. I'm Brandon Todd.
I'm Lauren Prisball. Thanks for being with us. So, yes, we are seeing hail in parts of the area this morning.
Yeah, storm chaser Michael Beard shot this video around 4:40 this morning of hail falling in downtown Bowie in Montague County. That's about 60 miles northwest of Fort Worth. The hail wasn't very big, probably around pea size, but it did cover the ground for a bit. We've got several big storms in our area this morning, and for that, we turn to Evan. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's actually, I mean, we've seen definitely storms with large hail. They've been confined primarily to areas west of the Metroplex. Had reports over 2 inches in a couple of spots out on I-20 towards Cisco and Eastland. That was about an hour or so ago. Now, things have mellowed out a bit. We're seeing hailstones up to nickels and quarters out of some of these, but you can see where the haves and the have-nots are. And areas from the Metroplex north have had most of the rain. There is still rain. By the way, that severe thunderstorm warning out around Mineral Wells is about to be canceled because the storm is weakened and moved out of the area. But at least as you're getting ready to go out of the house in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, couple of good things. No severe storms, no hail, but there are rain showers working their way pretty much from southwest to north, and they continue to build, especially across Dallas County. None of them are severe. There's quick downpours. There's probably a little better downpour up by Honey Grove and Leonard and Ladonia up in Fannin County. And now we go over to the severe storms. I'm going to stop the radar for a second. This particular cell that went over Palo Pinto County was nasty, but then it is falling apart out by Mineral Wells. You're welcome. All of the hail has collapsed, so that's good news for them. I mean, you don't want to be in the path of that. That one was the one that produced 2-inch hail. The hailstones that we are seeing right now, I'm going to grab you a quick little hail scope here because most of the hailstones that we are seeing are not as big. There's a couple of hailstones west of Jacksboro and a couple to the north of the city of Jacksboro. They are under severe limits. We'll see if the National Weather Service kind of releases that severe thunderstorm warning or at least allows it to expire. But these are moving north, and we'll track especially north of the Metroplex. There is a risk for some hail and wind. At this point, it's not as big as it was a little while ago. The showers should weaken and exit after 10 o'clock this morning, and the afternoon looks pretty quiet, especially as you go through a good chunk of the afternoon. I don't see much rain at all. The risk on the hailstones is still up to about egg size, which is officially, according to the National Weather Service, 2 inches. Somebody tried to tell me that it's less than that. Maybe your hen lays smaller eggs. Thunderstorms are in the forecast with a hail risk and some gusty winds this morning, but not for everybody. 60 degrees at noon. The only thing I want to point out, though, which is important, is that we're going to be much cooler than our original forecast today. We're only going to stay in the 60s all day, so you might want to grab a jacket getting out the door. Rain on the roads. No hail, but rain is a pain.
It is, and we're starting to see more wrecks pop up in Tarrant County, so let's go there first. Southbound on the West Loop as one moves down towards the I-30 interchange out of White Settlement. Here's a look at the crash. It looks like, though, the emergency crews have made quick work of at least getting these vehicles over to the shoulder of the roadway, so not a huge traffic tie-up. All traffic coming out of Parker County on I-30 and into the construction zone definitely starting to thicken up past Longview, but no wrecks or stalls to make it any worse there. Meanwhile, on the East Loop, southbound approaching the Fort Worth City line out of Hearst. Remnants of a wreck still on the left side of the roadway, and the wrecker is trying to get that cleared out. I hope that they're successful here in the next couple of minutes or so. Not only do you have a slowdown southbound in this immediate area, but there's an onlooker backup in the northbound side back past Randall Mill. Worst spot by far, northbound I-35E approaching I-30. About 5:20 this morning, crash involving a flipped truck. There's a look at the northbound flow coming out of the Zane curve, and notice how now it's at a dead stop. That's because they just shut down the highway. Everything is blocked, and as we watch this live, you can see the box truck. They are slowly but surely, they've got cables hooked up to it, and they are almost to the process of getting this back to being wheels down. And after that happens, they'll start the next phase, which is going to be obviously getting this thing out of here and then addressing any kind of a hazardous materials spill that might be on the roadway. It's almost, well, I'm going to have to go ahead and get it back to you, Brandon and Lauren, but you can see they are making progress in clearing this incident.
What a mess. All right, Chip, thanks. Well, as you saw from the radar, some of the western parts of our area have been seeing some pretty big hail this morning.
Yeah, so Peyton May is live in Tarrant County with a look. Peyton?
Yes, good morning, Lauren and Brandon. We are north of Fort Worth right now. We are driving I-35W up north. I'll give you a look at the roads right now. We aren't seeing any rain right now. We've been going back and forth between some light drizzle and then a little bit more rain, but right now it's kind of died down a little bit north of Fort Worth. We aren't seeing any ponding on I-35W as much as we were earlier when we were going through a little heavier patches of rain on the Loop 820, but right now it seems like we're doing pretty well. Of course, in rush hour traffic, things are ramping up when it comes to that, so of course drive slowly, carefully. You never know when you're going to hit a puddle or if you'll reach a spot with ponding, but take a look at this photo here sent in by a Good Day viewer, Courtney Kurtner. There's ping-pong and egg-sized hail you can see in Jacksboro. That's about an hour 20 minutes northwest of downtown Fort Worth, where we've been driving around here. A supercell actually moved through there in Jacksboro. They're still dealing with some storm issues there right now, but you know, we've been driving here around Tarrant County all morning. We've seemed to hit a little bit of a lull in terms of the storms and the rain. We haven't seen any lightning or thunder as of recently, but we've been just taking a look out at the roads as things start ramping up during rush hour. Back to you.
All right, be careful out there. This is the perfect time to make sure you have the Fox 4 weather app. It gives you information on watches and warnings. It has that live radar so you can track these storms as they move on through. You just scan the QR code on your screen. It is free to download. And at least 3 people are dead after wicked weather whipped through the South and the Midwest.
Yeah, on Wednesday, dozens of severe weather warnings were issued and tornadoes touched down in Missouri, Oklahoma, and Kentucky. A rare tornado emergency was even declared in parts of Arkansas, which is the Weather Service's highest alert. More than 90,000 people were without power. The storms aren't over yet. Heading into the weekend, forecasters are warning potentially historic rainfall could cause deadly flash flooding from Texas to Missouri and Maine. Students and staff at Memorial High School in Frisco will remember a student stabbed to death at a track meet.
The victim's father says his son died in the arms of his twin brother. Shannon Murray here with those details. Shannon.
Yeah, Lauren and Brandon, Memorial High School will honor Austin Metcalf during second period today. There will also be counselors to support students and staff throughout the day on campus. Wednesday morning, the 17-year-old was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kuykendall Stadium. Around 10 a.m., police say another student from Frisco Centennial stabbed Austin in the chest after a fight. The family says his twin brother Hunter tried to save Austin's life, but he died in his brother's arms. Wednesday night, their church opened its doors for a private prayer vigil. Austin's father says his son was chosen MVP of the football team and a member of the National Honor Society with a 4.0. He says right now they're relying on their faith.
He had a great life ahead of him. And to be taken away, it's such a tragedy. I mean, I can't even tell you how I feel because I don't know how I feel. I feel numb at the moment.
17-year-old Carmelo Anthony is charged with first-degree murder. Police have not said how he got the knife into the meat or what exactly led up to the fight, but Austin's father says it started over a seating issue in the stands. Austin's father says their family wants to see justice served, and he hopes his son's death will bring changes to security in the district. Shannon Murray for Good Day.
All right, thank you, Shannon. President Trump says the sweeping tariffs package will generate money for the nation's economy and boost U.S. manufacturing.
On Wednesday, the president imposed tariffs on more than 180 countries and territories which import goods into the United States. Most will have to pay a 10% baseline tax on U.S. imports. The administration hopes it will encourage Americans to buy American-made, tariff-free equivalents. But he imposed higher rates for dozens of nations that run trade surpluses with America, such as 34% for China and 20% on the European Union. Some economists say if the costs get passed down to the consumers, the tariffs are essentially a tax on Americans. Groups like the Texas Restaurant Association say its more than 58,000 members are already running on thin margins, so expect menu prices to climb.
This is the biggest tax increase in recent memory.
What I think restaurant operators are looking at is they're running out of runway. They don't have a choice in many cases but to pass that to the Texas consumer, and that comes in any form, which is sometimes declining traffic and less sales.
Now, since this tariff war began, some trade partners like China and Mexico and Canada have implemented retaliatory tariffs. It's unclear how many others will follow suit. Overnight, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said all options are on the table.
Nobody wins in a trade war. That is not in our national interest. We have a fair and balanced trade relationship with the US. Negotiations on an economic prosperity deal, one that strengthens our existing trading relationship. They continue, and we will fight for the best deal for Britain.
President Trump.
The leader of the European Union says they are set to have talks with the U.S., but warned there would be consequences if a deal is not reached.
Well, the White House showed a chart with the places that will be seeing tariffs. On the second page, it includes 10% tariffs on all goods from the Heard and McDonald Islands. Those are two Australian territories, part of the Antarctic Islands. U.S. doesn't have a trade relationship with them because no one lives there except seagulls and penguins. The Australian government says people can only access the island by helicopter, an amphibious vehicle, or a larger vessel. White House says it was included because it is Australian territories. Global stock markets took a beating overnight because of tariffs. Markets in Europe and Asia lower as investors worry that this is all going to lead to a recession. Germany markets fell nearly 2%. Some markets in Asia down 4% for a while. China's markets lower. The effect was somewhat blunted by the expectation that the government there will provide economic stimulus to try to offset some of those tariffs. U.S. markets closing higher yesterday, right before those tariffs were announced. It's likely, though, today to be a tough day on Wall Street.
Yeah, stock futures are pointing to a sharply lower opening as investors are worrying that the tariffs will spike inflation and hurt the U.S. economy. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 are all expected to open down around 3 to 4% or more this morning. Trading begins at 8:30 a.m. our time. It is about 12 minutes after 7 o'clock. The price of gasoline has taken a big jump in the past few days. We'll have a look at what's behind the increase coming up.
All right, weather kind of rough out there this morning. We are seeing hail in some areas as these storms move on through. Evan has the forecast coming up.
Officially, we got about 45 minutes left in this severe thunderstorm watch. And for a lot of you in the Metroplex, you're like, severe thunderstorms? What severe thunderstorms? We had a lot of them out to the west, in the northwest, in the north of the Metroplex. Several warnings this morning. Some of the reports have been bigger than egg size out to the west. But things have quieted down right now. While we do have some showers, I'm going to look at two different areas. First of all, your commute getting out the door. Showers, that's it. No big hail. We survived the night. You're okay right now. Dallas, all the way east over to Mesquite and up towards Garland and Saxe and Rockwall. A little bit of light rain or moderate rain. So the roads are going to be wet. These are where we still have storms. Now, it was just canceled. The warning was canceled for Palo Pinto County, which is good. That storm, which originally produced hail up to a little bigger than egg-sized on I-20, has weakened. The other storms that are producing some hail, you can see some of the cores here west of Jacksboro. That's probably nickel-sized. It just doesn't look all that severe anymore, all the way up towards Jacksboro. I'm going to track it for you right now. Stop the radar for a second. And these storms that we have are moving east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So with that in mind, about an hour from now, we're taking it up towards St. Joe and Alroyd and Bowie. Bowie is short order here. The one thing about these storms is they move up to the northeast. They're not producing as much hail, which is good. And then the trend will be for these to come down in intensity. Why? They're running deeper into the colder air. It's in the 50s right now. We've dropped into the 50s at DFW and Fort Worth with a north wind. It's still very unstable down south of us. Notice Corsicana, Hillsborough, Athens. Temperatures in the 70s and dew points of 70. Want to ask, where's the front? That's an easy one. You can see where the front is stalled just down here and out to the east. The most unstable air is here. As that lifts up over us, we get these storms that are elevated. They're not near ground level, which was where you'd be forming tornadoes, so we don't worry about that. But we do get the hailstones out of it, but the farther away it runs from the warmer source, the less hail we get. It's still pretty nasty out here. We're not done with this yet. We'll still see them continue past 8 o'clock this morning till at least 9 or so. Even though the watch would be done at 8 o'clock, we may still see a warning or two. You can see the most unstable air down south and the cool side up to the north. But once this system runs through, we should be done the rest of the day, or at least have very few showers after, say, late morning and early afternoon. The cold air, there's plenty of it. There's snow in the Rockies. There's the main storm. This is the storm that helped to create all the tornadoes yesterday, almost 24 tornadoes. This is going to sit there and spin, and a constant flow of moisture will be lifting up over this front. But the one thing I can see based on new data is that this front is going to be more east of us. So it puts us, yes, in heavy rain here in North Texas, but less severe weather in the forecast for the next couple of days. There's still the possibility for some hailstones, but the tornado threat would be more for East Texas than for anything else. Friday, we're going to have more storms. East in the afternoon, there is a low tornado threat. We're talking Paris down to Tyler, but that's pretty far to the east. And then Friday night into Saturday morning, we get the big piece. That's still 90 to 100% rain. Saturday afternoon and evening, we should be done, except for some chilly showers. So by 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're still getting scattered storms, but the hail threat seems to be getting lower and lower. And by noon, there's just a few showers left. The afternoon is relatively dry. Notice the big difference in temperatures, though. And then tonight into tomorrow morning, there's still the possibility we do get more showers and storms. Not as many and not as big of a hail risk in the morning, but later in the afternoon, these could be some storms that we'd have to worry about the possibility for large hail and tornadoes out to the east. And then the main part of the storm goes over us late Friday night into Saturday morning. It's still very wet Saturday morning, and then it dries out after that. So we're 65 today. We got the morning storms, pretty quiet afternoon, especially this evening if you want to check out the stars on more 27. Then tomorrow, 70% showers and storms. Still a risk for some severe weather. Flood threat Friday night into Saturday morning. Once that moves out, we're very chilly this weekend, 59 or 60. We do warm up nicely next week.
Thanks, Evan. We're going to go back to the roughest spot so far this morning on the roadways, and that's the incident in the downtown Dallas Mixmaster, where we have a flip box truck northbound I-35E at I-30. In the last report, we were showing the heavy-duty wreckers that were slowly but surely getting the vehicle upright. Mission accomplished in doing just that. But now the next steps would be to get this thing loaded up and cleared. And it does appear that as you look at that shot, there's definitely some fluid on the roadway. So a hazardous materials crew is likely going to be needed in this area. One lane is now open once again through that area, but I think that's going to be the best that we could see in this area right now. Please consider sliding over to the I-45 area east of here and using that instead to try to get to downtown Dallas. It's slow too, but at least all lanes are moving in that location. You can see a lot of northbound roadways here in Grand Prairie and Arlington, all doing okay. Everything southbound on the East Loop has cleared out successfully around Trinity Boulevard, and the incident we've been keeping tabs on southbound on the West Loop approaching I-30 has also been cleared out, and you can see the backups beginning to unwind coming down from the White Settlement area. As far as drive times are concerned, coming out of Denton County, southbound on I-35W as one approaches 170. Overall, folks handling the wet weather pretty well there. 114 heavier, but we've seen a lot of showers in that area recently moving through the South Lake and Trophy Club communities.
Live look, looks like a little sun trying to peek through those clouds right now. It is 7:21, almost 60 degrees, so you may be in sticker shock when you fill up your car. Gasoline prices really have jumped the last couple of days. In fact, AAA says we're paying about $3.02 for a gallon of regular in our area. That's up 8 cents from yesterday, 24 cents from Tuesday. Prices rising as more drivers hit the roads. Temperatures are warming up. Also the time of year where refineries start changing the gasoline blends as well. Price of oil is actually falling. So West Texas Intermediate trading just above $69 a barrel, $2. That's down $2 from just 2 days ago. So we'll see if that changes things a bit. 7:21. Yes, the Dallas Stars back home tonight. Gosh, it was a perfect road trip. Can they keep it up? We got a preview of their game with the Predators when we come back. Welcome back. Dallas Stars red hot. They take on the Nashville Predators tonight on home ice.
Yeah, you can watch it on KDFI More 27, and Paige is here with a look at the matchup. Man, they are still winning.
Man, don't they look really good?
Yes.
It's a really good indicator, too, heading into the postseason. We're going to get to that in a second. But, yeah, the team is on a 6-game win streak. The Stars sitting second in both the Central Division and the Western Conference, just 4 points behind Winnipeg. They are 49-21-4 on the season, while the Predators are 27-40-8. This is the third time the two teams will meet up this season, and the series is tied up. At last meeting, Nashville dominated, winning 4-1. However, this playoff-bound Dallas team, yeah, it's nearly perfect right now on both offense and defense. But head coach Pete DeBoer says the real test will be later this month.
I like where our game's at, but we're not putting our game out on the ice in a 7-game series against an elite team for 2 weeks. So, we've risen to the occasion when we've played the elite teams recently. So I guess my short answer is, yeah, I like where we're at, but you always wonder how it's going to translate when you get one of those teams in a 7-game series.
Here's a reminder, you can watch tonight's game against the Nashville Predators on KDFI More 27. Our coverage begins at 6:30. The regular season ends in exactly 2 weeks. Postseason play starts on April 19th. Right now, Nashville is sitting outside of the playoff picture, so one would think this would be a relatively easy win for Dallas, but I don't want to jinx anything. They're doing really good right now.
I know.
So here we go.
You never know. All right, if we can just stay healthy,
Let's do it.
That's key. Thanks, Paige. 7:26 coming up. We are talking about the weather this morning. Rainy, stormy across much of the area. We saw some hail. Some are continuing to see hail. Evan has the latest when we come back.
Day continues at 7:30 a.m. here on Fox 4.
All righty, so it's interesting to see as we watch this major storm system move on into our area, Evan, because we got red, we got yellow, we got green. I mean, all sorts of colors lighting up that radar.
Barney would be proud of us, but yes, we do have a lot of colors out there. Fortunately, we're seeing less and less red and more yellow. And the number of hail reports coming down quickly, meaning that we're not seeing as many. As a matter of fact, a couple of these warnings should be allowed to expire very shortly. We had the worst of it early this morning between about 3 and, say, 6 o'clock, 3 and maybe 6:30. Everything is mellowed out. Even though it's raining right now, we have solid showers in downtown Dallas running right up I-30 and north, and those are all lifting north into northern Dallas County around Richardson. Eventually, those get into Collin County around Plano and Wiley and Lucas, and a little rain around Arlington. There they go. I said the watches and the warnings, we still have a watch till 8 o'clock, but the warnings just expired for all of these storms. They just didn't look severe anymore. So there are no more severe thunderstorm warnings. The strongest cells we see, I'll look at them in a second, west of Jacksboro, obviously right around Sunset on Highway 287, and then up towards Montague and Nakona. These may be all of them producing some small hail, maybe up to dime size. That's around Sunset as it works its way to the northeast, and that'll go to St. Joe and Munster, but that's all lifting to the north. That's all we've got, and it is expected to continue to come down in intensity. Storms will diminish officially. Severe thunderstorm watch for another 30 minutes. If this trend continues, I'm sure the watch will expire. And then everything is just isolated and mainly east this afternoon. So realistically, later today should be fine. Here's something interesting, though. It's gotten a lot chillier with the front. We've had a northeast wind. We've dropped down to 59, 60 degrees, and I think we're going to stay there a good part of the day and just not really bounce at all. So our forecast yesterday was in the 70s for today. That's shifted. It's still in some of our southeastern counties, but here in the Metroplex, it is a cool day. And it'll stay this way through the entire weekend. Certainly more rain tomorrow. The big rain is Friday night into Saturday morning. There are no real wholesale changes in the forecast, but I bet there have been in traffic.
You showed how there are those showers that have dotted up on the east side of our viewing area.
They're out there.
And they definitely have slowed down the overall flow on major highways like I-30 coming across the Lake Ray Hubbard Bridge, or 635 LBJ moving from Mesquite over into Garland. The good news is haven't had any call-outs of any crashes so far, though I do have a little bit of a concern. The last couple of minutes right here in Fate, where you see it's condition red, then suddenly abruptly changes to yellow. That's a recent development in the last minute or two. So I'll start looking at cameras around FM 551 here and give you an update if I find something that's worth noting. Meanwhile, in downtown Dallas, the misery for northbound drivers coming up through the Zane curve continues. Average speed about 5 miles an hour. At least they have 2 left lanes reopened in this area, as that box truck that was on its side has been successfully now flipped upright and getting loaded up onto a wrecker. You can also see that some showers have recently moved through this spot, making the roadways wet. There is a concern about potential hazardous materials on the roadway, diesel, other kinds of fluids there, so please note that. For the second time this morning, we've had trouble pop up northbound I-35E, moving up past the State School Mayhill Road interchange around Buc-ee's Boulevard. Here's the good news regarding this incident. There was a brief closure of all the main lanes when the emergency crews showed up, and they did use that Loop 288 exit to Lillian Miller Parkway to get the vehicles off the beaten path, pushing them that direction. And you can see all lanes are now open once again in that spot. Lauren and Brandon, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. So we have seen quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of storms in the area. Not as bad, I think, as we thought, as Evan mentioned, but still, you got to be careful.
Yeah, and just for some of us, the severe stuff. Dan Godwin live this morning in Collin County with a look of how things are looking up there. Dan.
Well, good morning, Brian. Brandon. I think we may be in Denton County right now, kind of shifting to one side of the border from the other. Yeah, this is 380 right now, heading east towards Prosper. You can see some light rain is coming down now. There's been pretty steady rain this morning. In fact, we want to show you what things looked like in Prosper, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour ago. The rain then was coming down pretty hard, and who knows for the rest of the morning if we're going to see a return of this heavy rain. But we are simply been driving around this northern portion of the Metroplex looking for stormy conditions. We do want to pass along one bit of information from a DFW airport. The airport reporting this morning it has more flight cancellations than any other airport in the United States. The number of cancellations was up to nearly 60 this morning. Given the conditions we've got, it would be another good day to have quick access to the WAP. That can be easily downloaded by scanning the QR code on your screen. It's also available for iPhone and Android at the App Store. Just search Fox 4 WAP and you'll have quick access to live radar and lots of other helpful information as this weather system moves through North Texas. In Denton County, Dan Godwin, Fox 4 News, back to you.
All right, we appreciate it. Sorry about the chirping there. Sounded a little like Mario Brothers. Or,
it does,
I don't know what that was.
Something.
Something with the live truck
Had
there.
to do with that, yeah. 7:35 coming up on Good Day. A major online retailer is apparently interested in buying the social media site TikTok. We'll have the latest on negotiations to keep that app available in the U.S.
All right, there is a new reason to get a particular vaccine. Research shows it may actually help fight dementia. Details when we come back.
Welcome back on this Thursday morning. Your time now 7:38. Well, Amazon wants to buy TikTok.
Yeah, online retail giant put in a bid just days before a U.S. ban takes effect. President Trump's executive order gave the Chinese-owned app more time to sell to an approved buyer. That directive expires Saturday. Amazon not the only company trying to buy TikTok, though. Oracle and Blackstone have also posted bids. They met with senior advisors at the White House Wednesday to go over some of these options. And some lawmakers say even if it's sold, TikTok will still be a risk.
The ability for China to still control the content that literally hundreds of millions of Americans watch each day as a propaganda tool will still exist.
Well, the president said he would likely extend the deadline if TikTok isn't sold by Saturday. There is some new research that suggests the shingles vaccine can actually help fight more than just the painful blisters that come with that disease.
According to researchers, the vaccine can also help prevent dementia in older adults. The study found vaccine recipients were 20% less likely to develop dementia, but it's still unclear how the two are even connected. The study was specifically for adults who received the Zotavax vaccine. Researchers are still working to determine if the United States' newest version of the shingles vaccine would provide the same protection.
It is 7:40 coming up. Texas Rangers did something yesterday they haven't never done before. Highlights coming up.
Plus, this traffic has been a mess all morning long, obviously, because of the rain. Things are moving along pretty nicely, at least in that shot. Chip's got to look at some of the bad spots, though. Evan's got the latest on the storms when we come back.
We still have 15 minutes left in our severe thunderstorm watch, but I've kind of made the executive decision here to pull it off the screen. So hopefully they will take it off pretty soon because it's just going around and we don't have a lot of warnings and these storms are not severe anymore. Everything has kind of dropped down in intensity. And if you're living in the Metroplex and you're going, severe storms, what severe storms? You'd be right. We didn't have them here. They were basically up to the north and to the west. That's where we had all the action today, even though we did have a couple of warnings for golf ball size hail, even a couple of bigger egg sized hail reports. They were pretty far to the west. And there's still some storms producing small hail on Highway 82 up by Nakona and St. Joe. is probably dime-sized hail or smaller out of this. Bowie all the way down to Sunset in the Decatur area. Showers and storms continue. Yes, you could still have some small hailstones out of it. We're just not seeing anything big anymore. Doppler radar does still pick up showers in the Metroplex. I point this out because the roads are wet. There's a little rain just north of Dallas. And there's some other rain. Gentlemen called me from Corsicana and say, hey, the WAP's more rain developing. Yes, there are some lighter showers starting to develop out there in Navarro County. But these are the rainfall totals in the last 24 hours. I'm widening this out just a bit to show you what did fall. Not a ton in the Metroplex, but we did have a lot of heavy rain out by Bowie and Jacksboro, a couple of inches of rain. So there may be a little bit of flooding out in Jack County. And we're not done with this complex yet. There's still storms out here. Notice the temperature, though. It's in the 50s, even down to 50. It's cold. We're 59 at DFW. We've gotten more stable. And if anything, the one thing that has changed in this forecast, yes, it's still ridiculously warm down here. There's still a front, but all these storms that we had this morning in the rain has pushed this front down to the south of us. It's made us cooler today. And while the showers will be around this morning, pushing east, I think there's not a lot left by noon, and there's definitely even less left this afternoon. The afternoon should be quiet and relatively dry. So through about 9 o'clock, we'll say 50 or 60%. I've kind of dropped the intensity down on the storms. Showers weaken and exit, and then new showers and storms will develop tonight after midnight, and there's a low risk for hail, but the potential is not as high as what we had this morning. And look at the temperatures today. Even though it's not going to rain much after this morning, we're not getting out of the 60s today. Low to mid 60s here in the Metroplex. It's still very warm south and east. We still have to watch that because this is the contrast along the front, which will eventually breed more storms tonight into tomorrow. But for the rest of today, once this moves out, relatively tranquil pattern. You notice we did have some really big storms out to the west. They're called elevated storms. It's on the colder side of the front. What happens is the moisture gets lifted over the front and the storms are not at the surface. When you get tornadoes like we had yesterday in Arkansas, Kentucky, that's because these storms are all the way down close to the ground and they can get the rotation from the wind shear. When they're elevated like this, all they typically do is produce hail, and it can be large hail. We've had a couple of reports of large hail out west. This will all begin to move east. The storm risk grows for Arkansas today, Louisiana, maybe the Arklatex, but not for us again. We're going to be on the cooler side, which means a little hail risk by tomorrow morning, but not as monstrous as what we had today in some spots. Tomorrow and the next couple of days, Friday and Saturday, this parent storm, this big storm producing snow in the cold air and all the active thunderstorms is going to finally start to move. It's going to push a batch of rain here Friday night and Saturday morning. High coverage, nearly 100%. But then everything shifts east of us on Saturday. After the morning hours, most of Saturday looks kind of dry. Maybe we get a couple of raindrops Saturday evening, but the heaviest rain will certainly be from the Metroplex north and east the next 24 hours all the way into the weekend. And once we get past Saturday, we should be done. 40% showers and storms late tonight. We'll call it a slight risk, and it's just for hail. Tomorrow, showers and some storms. Not a lot of widespread severe weather. The only exception may be for our eastern counties in the warm sector. Paris, Tyler, down to about Palestine. There would be a tornado risk in the afternoon. Saturday, early morning rain and storms. When I say early, I'm talking 3 in the morning to maybe 10 in the morning. Heavy rain and storms with a flood threat. Saturday night, some showers may linger, and then they're gone, and we don't see another drop for a while. 20% this afternoon. So basically, once everything moves out this morning, it dries out this afternoon. This evening should be fine. A little chilly for the Stars game. It's on More 27. You can watch it there. Friday, more showers and storms return. A little bit of a severe weather risk with hailstones. Flood threat comes in Friday night into Saturday morning with very heavy rain. Once that exits, Saturday afternoon should be dry, just kind of cloudy and 60, rather chilly. Saturday evening, we get a few showers wrapping back. Sunday is brisk and chilly again. Wind chills will be in the 30s in the morning. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all look very nice.
Thanks, Evan. And as Evan mentioned, with the stabilization of the atmospheric conditions, that's a great thing. And it's one of those situations where on the roadways, the bottom line is it most certainly could have been worse this morning. And fortunately, we haven't had a ton of incidents happen. Now, one of the spots that's the exception has been northbound I-35E at I-30, where we had the flip box truck happen about 5:20. About 7-8 minutes ago, everything cleared out in this area. So there is a look at the flow coming across the Trinity River Bridge now from the Zang Curve around the Dallas Zoo and things like that. And you can see it's starting to move a touch better, but still under 25 miles an hour. But again, at least all lanes are open. Up to the north of here, there's a bad spot, and that would be moving through the Addison area toward Plano and into far north Dallas, northbound on the Dallas North Tollway around the Trinity Mills interchange, close to the TCA campus. There's only one lane getting through. And the backup starts at Spring Valley. Southbound traffic is always heavy this time of the morning, especially when you add wet pavement in some of those curvy areas. For folks around the south end of the airport, 183 definitely slow in both directions. 114 heavy, especially on the eastbound side approaching International Parkway. No extra stalls to make it any worse, and it's very heavy going from Trophy Club through South Lake and the construction zone past Dove Road, but no extra stalls there. Over on the West Loop, I have concerns for folks moving through the construction zone of both southbound West Loop 820 and I-30 in the eastbound direction, where the speeds are definitely heavy, but we don't have any extra stalls to make it any worse. Texas Rangers on the road against the Reds yesterday did something they've never done before as a franchise when based in Texas.
Swing path. Smith puts a pretty good swing on this one. That's carrying well out to the alley, and that one gets down. Base hit. Peterson around third. They'll wave him to the plate. No throw.
Josh Smith provided the only run on a historic day for the Rangers. 5 pitchers, led by starter Jack Leiter, struck out 10 Cincinnati Reds in Wednesday's 1-0 win. It's the first time the Rangers have posted back-to-back 1-0 wins, and the second time in franchise history. The old Washington Senators did it in 1962. Manager Bruce Bochy was especially impressed by Leiter's performance.
Just threw a beauty there. It's a shame he had to come out because he was locked in. Had a good tempo going. Really mixed up his pitch as well. Had a good changeup, curveball, slider, along with the fastball. And, you know, they're a very aggressive team. And so he uses off-speed pitches very well. Guys fought hard. I mean, that's big to win back-to-back 1-0 games.
Well, the Rangers are off today. They open a series against Tampa Bay tomorrow night at Globe Life Field in Arlington.
And it goes into Davis. And it's Anthony Davis driving runner. It's in there!
Anthony Davis showing Mavericks fans he's here to win. Last night he scored 34 points, including the game winner in the 120-118 home victory over Atlanta. The Hawks' Trae Young missed a game-winning shot at the buzzer. Dallas now is in 9th place in the West, and that's good enough for the play-in tournament. The Mavs head to Los Angeles to play the Clippers tomorrow night. Well, the United Football League kicked off its second season last Friday night right here on Fox 4. We're partnering with the UFL to bring you a brand new podcast about the league called 4th and 12. The podcast launches tonight on More 27 with hosts Jeff Kolb and Jess Navarez. The first guest is UFL President of Football Operations and Dallas Cowboys legend Daryl Moose Johnston. 4th and 12 will air right after the conclusion of the Dallas Stars broadcast tonight, and will air regularly on More 27 Thursday nights at 7:30 following the Afterthought podcast with Sam Gannon and Mike Ducey. It's 7:52. Coming up on Good Day, as promised, President Trump announced tariffs on many of our trading partners, and it could have a huge impact on markets today. We'll have the latest from Washington in our next half hour of Good Day. Plus, experts are hoping to ease stereotypes about autism during Autism Awareness Month. We'll explain when we come back. Welcome back on this rainy morning. It is 7:55. Well, April is Autism Awareness Month. There are a number of ways that the public can learn more about the developmental disability and how to best support those who are living with the diagnosis.
Fox's Sean Langell has a closer look at how to promote better understandings about autism, and as educational experts really analyze ways to try to break down some of the damaging stereotypes too.
April marks Autism Awareness Month, a time advocates say is meant to encourage acceptance of people on the autism spectrum and educate the public on how to support those diagnosed with a developmental disability. According to the latest CDC data, roughly 1 in 36 kids have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and more than 5.4 million adults in the U.S. are estimated to have it. But while people with autism may have trouble with social communication and different ways of learning, moving, and paying attention, Dr. Megan Carpenter of Clemson University says it's critical to break down several misconceptions.
We might overgeneralize that everyone with autism has these super academic abilities and no social interaction ability. We might meet someone who needs significant communication support, and we assume that all individuals with autism are not going to communicate their wants, needs, ideas, and feelings.
In school settings, Dr. Carpenter says students without autism can help their classmates navigate certain situations.
If we think about what happens in a typical cafeteria in any grade level, it's much more socially acceptable to have your friend prompt you to communicate or prompt you to ask for the correct lunch option that you want, as opposed to an adult or paraprofessional or teacher kind of following you around.
But while some people with autism require more assistance than others, Dr. Carpenter says,
we know with the right support, people with autism can be very successful in what they choose to do with their lives. So really, I think it's that big misconception that they're not the ultimate change agents in their life, and they should be.
Sean Langell for Good Day.
All right, it's about 3 minutes till the top of the hour.
All right, some storms this morning. Not as bad as we thought, but boy, some saw rain and hail. We got cooler temperatures for all of us. Evan has the latest when we come back.
Insurance and find out how much you could save.
Storms not as strong as they were, but we still have a lot going on in the weather today and the next couple of days. Evan has the latest ahead.
A dispute at a high school track meet leaves one teen dead and another charged with murder. How the victim is being remembered.
Well, new tariffs are now on the way. I'm Doug Luzader in Washington. We'll have more on the president's announcement and its impact coming up.
The only local news at 8 a.m. Thanks for watching Good Day on Fox 4.
Well, good morning. It's Thursday, April 3rd. I'm Brandon Todd.
I'm Lauren Prisball. Thanks for being with us. Okay, Evan, little sigh of relief right now just for this latest round that moved on through, because not as bad as expected.
No, at least for us here in the Metroplex. I mean, obviously 36 counties. I've got a lot of reports in our western counties, just getting some reports in from Graham, which is pretty far to the west. It's on our western fringes, but they have a lot of damage there. And also in Eastland, we had reports of hail that was bigger than eggs. So there's also some damage there. We had some 18-wheelers blown over at a truck stop. So there were some nasty storms. You could see when they pulled through, it was right about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. Some areas got it at 4 in the morning, but now everything is mellowed out. We have no more severe thunderstorm watch. That has been canceled, which is good. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are still these little bands of showers wetting the road. There's one up by Carrollton and over by Plano and Garland. Just a little bit of light rain here in the Metroplex. What's left of the severe thunderstorms, and we had hail just recently. That is now moved into Oklahoma, just to the west of Marietta and I-35. But there's nothing really left except some moderate rain here in parts of Montague and Jack and also Wise County. A little stronger cell is approaching Graham at this hour. Maybe some pea-sized hail. Graham, by the way, west of Jacksboro is where we're getting a lot of reports of damage. Some roofs ripped off houses from strong winds and also a lot of trees down in the city. 60%, it's probably a little generous, probably more like 50% right now. Showers and storms, that hail wind risk, we're going to tone it down very quickly. Showers weaken after 10 o'clock and begin to head east, and the afternoon looks pretty quiet. The next risk will be overnight. And the risks this morning, I mean, hail has been up to half-dollar size, but I think we're pretty much done with that, so we'll clean that graphic out. 60 degrees this morning. The one thing that has happened is it got chilly behind the front. The front has been pushed to the south, and with that in mind, we're staying in the 60s all day. There are no more 70s for us. There will be some southeast of Dallas, down around Corsicana, Palestine, and Canton, but not in the Metroplex. Only in the 60s today and only in the 50s north and west. We still have more rain in the forecast tonight, tomorrow, and into Saturday morning. Once we get past that, we'll be home free for a while, and we'll check it out coming up, Chip.
This is one of those times of the morning where, again, it could have been worse.
Definitely a lot.
But you still have wet roadways, and don't get lulled into a false sense of security like, oh, hey, it's not heavy rain, I'll be good, because we have seen some folks learn the hard way that even on just damp roadways, you could end up in big trouble. Great example, northbound on the Dallas North Tollway heading up past Trinity Mills, had a pretty rough wreck, 2 right lanes blocked for a while. Here's the good news, that incident just cleared, so we're in recovery mode moving up towards the George Bush Turnpike from the Galleria. Southbound has been heavy all morning long through that area. It makes sense on the wet roadways. Next, we want to go to northbound I-35E and 635 LBJ. Call out of a crash in the last couple of minutes. That's the northbound flow trying to move up through this area. It's going about 2 or 3 miles an hour. And there's the reason why. We have a pickup truck that has spun out. It is sitting in the 2 right lanes, exactly right. You got to be careful on these wet roadways. It is tough, and you can lose traction in little areas here and there, and that's what it apparently looks like. Emergency crews are heading this way. They obviously haven't gotten here yet to this recent wreck, and the backup is building already back past Loop 12 Walton Walker Merge. Quick notes on 114 as one moves in the eastbound direction out of Trophy Club and South Lake over toward the Grapevine City line. Slow, but no wrecks or stalls through that area. Just had a call out of an incident on the East Loop 820 transition to go to 121, and emergency crews are heading that way. Brandon, Lauren.
All right, Chip, thanks. Some parts of our area saw quite a bit of hail earlier this morning.
Fox 4's Peyton May live with a look. Peyton? Peyton, you there? Well, it sounds like we have become disconnected from Peyton. We'll check back in with her in a little bit. You know, the one thing with these storms and all of them just moving on through is it's really nice to have the WAP handy. Because
you and I did that yesterday. Both broke out our phones.
You got the warnings. You can see, you can watch the radar yourself and see exactly when the storms are coming on through. So as we go through the next couple of days, highly recommend. Really easy to get you to scan that QR code. It's free to download, but that's something that I believe is just so helpful when we've got storms like this. So stay tuned. We'll check back in with Peyton in a little bit to see what she's seeing out on the roads. But for now, we'll move on to some other news. Frisco Memorial High School grieving the loss of a student stabbed to death at a track meet.
And another student is now facing murder charges. Shannon is here now with how the victim's family is remembering him. Shannon.
Austin Metcalf's father says right now the family is numb and in shock, and they're relying on their faith. Wednesday morning, the 11th grader was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kukendall Stadium. Around 10 a.m., police say another student from Frisco Centennial stabbed Austin in the chest after a fight. The family says his twin brother, Hunter, tried to save Austin's life, but he died in his brother's arms. Austin's father says his son was MVP of the football team and a member of the National Honor Society. Wednesday night, their church held a private prayer vigil to remember him.
He's touched a lot of people's lives. He was a great individual, a leader, an athlete, very smart, 4.0. I couldn't ask for a better son. I kissed him. When I kissed him goodbye, this for the last time, I told him it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
17-year-old Carmelo Anthony is charged with first-degree murder. Police have not said how he got the knife into the track meet or exactly what led up to the fight. Austin's father, though, says it started over a seating issue in the stands. Memorial High School will honor Austin during second period today. There will also be counselors to support students and staff throughout the day. Shannon Murray for Good Day.
All right, Shannon, thanks. Global stock markets tumbled overnight after President Trump unveiled his expansive new tariff plan.
This move could fundamentally change trade relations really all across the world, and Doug Luzader has more from Washington.
Well, as promised, this was a major announcement from the president, and reaction is pouring in from around the globe this morning. The markets are still reeling, but the Trump argument is that this is exactly what our economy needs.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time.
President Trump in the Rose Garden to make an address the White House had been hyping for weeks. He held a large chart, ticking off one country after another that would face U.S. tariffs based on how they tariff U.S. goods.
Look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%.
The Trump strategy here: encourage manufacturers to produce in the United States and lean on other countries to lower their trade barriers. But in the meantime, prices may rise.
The joint resolutions passed.
Just hours earlier, Senate Democrats and a handful of Republicans voted to revoke additional tariffs on Canada. Getting that measure through the House, though, won't be likely, and the president could always veto it. But it capped off a day with critics railing on the president's plans.
It's a gut punch. It's a gut punch for the average American.
The markets have been up and down on the news as U.S. trading partners assess their options. Canada may bend.
You have tariffs on a whole number of products.
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off.
Mexico promising new measures of its own.
We will announce it tomorrow. It is a comprehensive program.
And there are reports now that new car sales are on the rise as consumers brace for higher prices ahead. In Washington, Doug Luzader for Good Day.
All right, it is 9 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Okay, we still have some rain out there. We still have some storms out there as well. Evan's tracking it all. We got several chances over the next few days. His forecast coming up.
that the storm risk is down, let's talk something happy like birthdays. Lakin Utley, you can lead us off at 1. Cairo Gibson, also celebrating a first birthday with us. Leilani Laredo, how about a first birthday for you as well? Our 2-year-olds today, Andy Campbell, with a big smile, can be 2. Amaya Thomas, also celebrating 2 years with us here at Good Day. And Landon Aranda, also celebrating 2 years with us. It's a big fire truck. Emery, please, celebrates 3 years. You could be the only 3-year-old today. Let's go to 4. Kaylee Olivia. Kaylee, you are 4. Olivia Washington celebrates 4 years with us. Shaylin Lawrence, you are 4 as well. Happy 4th birthday to you. And to Collins, we wish you a happy 4th birthday. Just one 5-year-old today, Amir. You can be 5, but the well-dressed man is wearing, yes, the Secret Service. And one special Good Day birthday wish, Iola Miller. Very special at 103. Love to see that. It's going to be an interesting day today because now we're on the colder side of the front. We've gotten rid of the severe storms. Our watch has been canceled. We had several warnings this morning. I'll show them to you later. But more important, the showers we have are still in the area. We're not done with showers yet. We're just not talking severe weather or hail anymore. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have showers through Tarrant County, just little showers running through from Fort Worth all the way up to about South Lake and West Lake and Keller. Arlington, a couple of showers. Not as many in Dallas, but the roads are certainly wet. And these are the storms that were around earlier. A couple of hours ago, they produced hailstones. Some of the hail was as big as quarters and half dollars. Right now, I'm going to stop the radar for a second. North of the Red River, once you get north of Gainesville, we got a storm with a little bit of hail headed to Ardmore and a shower, thunderstorm, I would say pea-sized hail at worst, would be moving towards Jacksboro. Again, there was a lot of damage around Graham. They clocked the wind of 70 miles per hour in a thunderstorm early this morning, about 3:34 in the morning. And also west of Eastland, out around Cisco, we had hail that was bigger than hen egg size, over 2 inches, and we had reports of a couple 18-wheelers blown down. So it was nasty earlier. We still have showers that are going across the area. They're not done with us. They're just not as many. And notice Corsicana at 75 degrees. It's also pretty humid down there. Where is our front? It's down here. It's stalled in our southern counties. And if anything, all the showers we've had have pushed the front a little farther south. Why does that matter? Well, the most unstable air is lying down here. So we're no longer in the most unstable air anymore here in North Texas. The lift is moving out. You can see the bigger storms moving into Oklahoma. Still another couple hours of rain. We'll still have to watch the warm and muggy side. Eventually, as this gets into East Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana, there could be more severe weather today. They had a horrible tornado outbreak yesterday. The Gulf air is still there, and the storm out to the west isn't going anywhere. There's still snow in the mountains, and there's still that flow of moisture. Today, a lot of clouds. Tonight, late, more showers. Tomorrow, more showers. The parent storm finally breaks free Friday night, and that's when we get the heavier rainfall. There's no change in the forecast. The heaviest rain is going to be late Friday night after midnight into the early hours of Saturday morning. And by the time it's all said and done, we still could see a multi-inch rain, especially in East Texas. So Friday, we jump to Friday. There are more morning storms. I don't think they're as rough, but there's still a low hail potential. In the afternoon, our eastern counties could get some of the storms, and right along the front from Paris to around Tyler and Palestine, there would be a low tornado risk. Friday night into Saturday morning is a heavy rain and flood risk. Some of those storms could be severe, hail and gusty winds. And then Saturday afternoon and evening, just a few showers, especially north and west. But most of Saturday is going to be on the drier side if you have any plans. It's going to be chilly, but it'll be drier. So our forecast today, just scattering of showers this morning. We go into the afternoon hours. Noon, most of the showers and storms are out east, lower coverage. And then as we get into the late day hours, we still got to watch because Tyler and Palestine are very warm while we're on the chilly side. Tonight, tomorrow morning, more showers and storms roll back in. I think it's on and off tomorrow morning, then again during the day. So it's not an entire day wet affair. We still have to watch late in the day from Paris down to Tyler and Palestine. If there was a tornado threat, it would be for East Texas, and it would probably start in our eastern counties. And then as we get into tomorrow night, the main event, everything rolls through. By late afternoon Saturday, all the rain will have pushed east and will probably be dry, but very chilly. 7-day forecast. I've dropped some temperatures every day, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Only 65 today. By the afternoon, we're down to 20% showers, which is fine because if you happen to be driving downtown to watch the Stars game tonight, great. If not, you can always watch it on More 27. Tomorrow, there is the risk for some active storms, but not as high as today. The flood risk grows tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. Heavy event, 100% of us getting rain, but then it's gone. Saturday afternoon should be dry for the majority of us with a high temperature near 60. Saturday night, a couple of showers. Sunday is a brisk and chilly day. You're going to wake up Sunday morning, wind chills are in the 30s. It's a dry forecast, though, all the way into next week.
Well, the traffic flow is definitely heavy on a lot of roadways as I get out of the way. But the good news is no big-time troubles out there. That actually includes northbound I-35E now approaching and passing 635 LBJ. And I know what you're thinking. You put a big yikes marker up there at the top of the hour. And there was reasons to do that because we had a pickup truck that was perpendicular in the roadway blocking the two right lanes. Here's the good news. Another pickup truck driver pulled up and helped out and was able to actually help get that vehicle out of here. Way to go, Good Samaritan, indeed. So the main flow of traffic now making that transition into Farmers Branch, and the phase 2 of the 35E expansion project is at least moving a touch better in that immediate area. It's obviously also slow approaching there. 183 has some slow traffic moving from Hearst and Bedford over to the Euless area, but no wrecks or stalls. I-30, similar situation as one moves over from Fort Worth through the Arlington area and over and around Tarrant County. Again, this is one of those mornings where it could have been so much worse, but since most of the rain moved north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we really haven't seen a lot of big incidents to be concerned about. With that noted, there are pockets of slow traffic southbound I-35W approaching the North Loop, approaching 121 merge, any kind of transition issues, and then northbound on I-35 coming up from the Rendon-Crowley area past 20, a pocket of slow traffic, but again, no wrecks or stalls there either.
All right, good to know. Thank you, Chip. 8:20. Dallas Stars are going to try to keep this win streak going. We got a preview of their game with the Predators coming up next.